Hi everyone, it's Ollie Cold Week in April, and today on Asian Rep in Media, we are talking about The Joy Luck Club, a movie that is near and dear to my heart. The Joy Luck Club is a beautifully filmed movie about the complexity of the mother and daughter relationship that has generational trauma that comes with it. A sad, touching, and insightful movie that many can relate to. I'm Mimi Lee, and we'll be looking at Amy Tan's choices for The Joy Luck Club. The audience that gravitates towards the Joy Luck Club are daughters that have complex relationship with their mothers and want to understand them better. Although this is more geared towards daughters of Chinese immigrants, the goal is for the audience, for all audience, aside from daughters of Chinese immigrants, to understand why their mothers are the way that they are and why they treated them as such. I know that I'm one of the target audiences, and let me tell you, watching this movie was a healing experience for me. As we get to understand the mothers in this movie, does this really excuse their behaviors and how it affected their children? I believe that Amy Tan wanted to show how important and complex the child and mother relationship is. All of these stories of the 8 characters are loosely based on Tan's and her mother's lives. Today, I'm just going to talk about Suan, June, Ying Ying, and Lena. When writing these stories, Tan is trying to understand her mother, to really get to know for who she is. Tan wants the audience to try to do the same thing as she is doing. Let's start with Ying Ying. Back in the day, Ying Ying was a wild and carefree girl, but she ended up pregnant with a man that would leave her and her baby behind for an opera singer. Lena also wasn't respected in her marriage as well with Harold. They were always splitting what they owned, and it seemed like he was more of a roommate than her husband. Ying Ying's first husband disrespected her in a more obvious way than Harold did with Lena by kissing the singer in front of her and giving her baby to the singer to hold. No, the baby is not Lena from the first marriage. What Ying Ying would do next would haunt her for the rest of her life. Sadness and anger clouded her eyes. Ying Ying was bathing her baby when she drowned him, and when she got back to her senses, she was already too late. Regret and guilt flooded in her as she held her dead baby. Throughout Lena's childhood, she saw Ying Ying as a ghost. She would just sit there and stare. Lena ended up in a relationship without respect, and love. Ying Ying could tell that her daughter wasn't happy. Now, after talking about Ying Ying and Lena, we are going to talk about Suan and June. A line in the movie when June spoke, "No, I'm just sorry you just got stuck with such a loser. That have always been so disappointing." This was June's replies to Suan when she said, "Style cannot be taught," referring how Waverly has style, but June didn't. When June was a child, Suan wanted her to be a child prodigy. However, that wasn't June's style, and unlike Waverly, she didn't seek for her mother's approval as much as Waverly did. In all of June's life, she has never felt like she was enough. That every hope that Suan had for her, that June failed to meet, hurts. Before June was born, Suan had twins, but had to leave them behind because of the war. And when June was born, she had placed all of her hope in her. Now let's look at what the effects their mothers have done to them. Ying Ying being absent in Lena's life has caused her to have a guide for her in life, and this leads to her in an unhappy relationship with Harold. And for June, all this hope put pressure on her, and when she didn't meet it, it crushed her. So does this really justify their actions and behaviors? No. In the end, what our mothers went through doesn't justify what they've done to us. Thank you for listening, Asian Rep in Media, and I'm your host, Mimi Lee.